Hello, I'm Anne,
And I'm Stephen.
and together,
We're
Wagtail.
our utopian dream.
So we're on part 2 of our making our dreams a reality, aren't we?
Yep, we certainly are. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't
Yeah, it does. So we actually talked about trying out a narrowboat on the morning break last week.
We did.
We?
We hired it for a week.
That's it. Yeah. And so we came back home. Stephen just loved it. He thought it was absolutely amazing. Sam loved it too.
Yep.
I enjoyed it, but I was having reservations. So I'd built a really thriving holistic business here in Ossett, where we're currently living, in this room that we're doing the video from. Enjoying seeing all my clients, and I got the security of my own home as well. So I was thinking, how can I move on to a boat and leave all this behind me? And then disaster struck, didn't it, for me?
It was such a shame, wasn't it, really?
Yeah. So I had a dentist appointment one Monday morning, and I was walking down the road to go to the dentist, and I tripped up, fell sideways onto my left arm, and I broke my arm. So Stephen took me to the local hospital, and it was confirmed that my arm was broken and I would be laid up for a little while. So no more therapies. I had to contact all my clients to tell them what had happened, and I had to just rest my arm to see how it mended, really.
You had to have it strapped up as well, didn't you?
I did have to have it strapped up, and we had lots of visits to the local hospital. Stephen was a godsend.
That's right. I felt sorry for you because you were in a lot of pain, weren't you?
I was in a lot of pain.
A lot of pain.
I don't normally take anything, even paracetamol. I don't take any drugs whatsoever. But I like to try and sort myself out without anything like that. It's all natural with me. But I was on some very strong painkillers, so I was sort of like on cloud 9 some of the time without to be
struggle sleeping as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did totally. So I had to be propped up in bed.
And sometimes you even had to help you not fully get dressed, but
put things over my top and what have you. So it was a bit embarrassing, but we got there, and you were driving me about to the hospital and what have you, weren't you? Yeah. But every day Stephen was watching and looking for a narrowboat, because Stephen had a little bit of money put by, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Again, I worked for Greater Manchester Police for 20 years, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
And it got to a point I kind of thought, well, not that I'd had enough, but I wanted to change, didn't I?
Yeah.
And when I got to 55, it meant you could access some of your private pension. And it gave me, not a massive, but it gave me a lump sum, which helped a bit, didn't it?
It did, totally, yeah.
And it just meant that we could look for a narrowboat, but we're still pretty much on a budget.
Yes, yeah. So it was, as I say, it was on every day, looking at all the brokers on the internet, looking at all the broker sites and
Towpath Telegraph as well.
Yeah, you looked at everything. And Facebook, you did look at Facebook Marketplace as well, didn't you?
I had to keep charging your iPad, didn't I? Because I flattened your battery.
And then suddenly this one boat appeared, didn't it?
It did. Again, it would have been Lakeland Leisure boat sales.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and they are based at sort of Great Haywood Marina on the Trent and Mersey Canal. And they do adverts, obviously, don't they, on the internet and that. Yeah. And there was one particular boat that caught my eye because, like I mentioned, it's difficult when you're on a budget. I weren't in a position to get a really expensive boat, were I?
No.
I had to kind of be realistic what I could afford. And I'm not saying I didn't have much more than a project boat, but I didn't have a great budget, did I?
You didn't, no.
So I really, I was kind of limited, but that didn't stop me trying, did it?
No.
It didn't stop me trying. And like you said, this one particular advert caught my eye because there was a 47-foot traditional tug-style narrowboat, which were built by Gary Gorton, who were quite a good boat builder in his day, weren't it?
He was, yeah.
In 1989. I looked at it and I kind of like the style of it. I love the shape of the hull. I love the fact that it was a bit like a working boat in so much as it had a Lister engine and a separate engine room, and had the speed wheel, you know, where you increase the throttle, and a simple like bar mechanism, you know, to change your gears.
Yes.
But, and this was the boat, at that point, it was up for sale and they wanted £38,000, didn't they?
They did,
which was probably realistic, but I'll be honest, it was beyond my budget.
Yeah, yeah.
So what did you think of it, Val?
I mean, I was prepared to go and have a look at it with you, but then they had a Black Friday sale, didn't they?
Yeah, that kind of changed everything because, you know, it's difficult, isn't it? Because of the budget. I really liked the boat, but, you know, like even, say the boat's 38 grand, you know, you've got to go and have a look at it. Well, like Anne said, I was extremely lucky, and I don't know if it was fate come calling.
Yeah.
But lately in leisure boat sales, once every so often they have what's called a Black Friday sale, and the used boats they've got in stock, they give reductions. Well, unbelievably, and I still kind of got to pinch myself that this actually happened, but bearing in mind that particular boat, which was called Wagtail, by the way, yeah, and it was up for 38 grand. Well, in that Black Friday sale, which wasn't for, was it, I don't know, a few weeks? It weren't very long, was it,
no,
the Black
it
Friday
wasn't,
sale?
No, yeah.
But listen to this, you ain't going to believe it, yeah? So you can imagine, it was 38. For the Black Friday sale, there was a £13,000 reduction. And yes, you did hear that right, 13 grand. So the boat I'd been watching attentively for probably the best part of a month had been reduced to £25,000, which, don't get me wrong, that's still a lot of money. But for a boat of that calibre and quality, I thought this is a no-brainer. And that's why I said to Anne, I said, like, Luke, you know, have a look at this and tell me what you think. Because what it meant, suddenly that boat was now in our budget, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was in our budget, and we had a little bit of money should it require repairs.
Yes.
So you know, do you want to...
So you rang up Emma at Lakeland Leisure, didn't you?
She was brilliant, by the way, absolutely brilliant. You know, highly recommended.
And we made an appointment to go and look at Wagtail, didn't we?
Yeah, and it was quite a drive, wasn't it? Because like I said, we were at Ossett, which is not a million miles from Wakefield, is it? So how long did it take to drive down there?
With a stop, about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I know the area because I was actually born in Stone in Staffordshire, and Great Haywood Marina is near Stafford, so it's just up the road from where I...
Lovely part of the world, isn't it?
Gorgeous, and I've got lots of family down there, so it was nice to go down for me.
Yeah, it's like revisiting old haunts almost, isn't it? And
totally. So Stephen, of course, drove because I was still out of action.
And I must admit, I've been driving since I was 17, and bear in mind I'm 56. Obviously, I'm competent, and I don't have accidents and all that. But I'm not into motorways, am I?
You don't like them.
I really don't like motorways because, you know, Lewis, spray, all that. Yeah. But anyway, we got there and got there in one piece.
Well, it was a lovely day, to be fair, because we went down in November. It was a beautiful sunny day, so the weather was on our side.
That was true.
We chose a good route because we came off at Derby, so we were only on the motorway for an hour, weren't we, really?
Yeah, true. And a lot of A roads, weren't it?
And a lot of A roads, so it wasn't a bad journey, really, was it?
No, it wasn't, and we finally got there, didn't we? We parked the car.
Yeah.
And there was that kind of anticipation, you know what I mean? Because obviously you park your car, and opposite is the marina. It's a lovely marina, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful marina, and you've got all these boats, and I remember thinking, it's like boat heaven.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then a really nice sort of like, you won't call it a clubhouse, but like a big lounge, isn't there?
Yes.
There's offices, and there's a lot of really nice facilities.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, so we kind of walked across, you know, we parked our car, made sure it was locked, walked across to the office, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
And then we opened the door, and what did we do next?
I don't know, what did we
went
do?
in.
Oh.
We went in, and we said hello, and we introduced ourselves to Emma.
Yeah, we did.
And she was very welcoming, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was, yeah.
And she even she made us a cup of tea, I remember.
Yeah, she did, which was really
You know, that was really nice. And obviously, you know, like I wasn't aware because, you know, like we'd not been before, because I was kind of expecting that Wagtail would be moored in the marina.
Yes.
But it wasn't, was it?
No, it wasn't actually.
Strange.
Just outside, really, wasn't it?
Because
on the canal.
Yeah, because I remember, like, obviously, like Emma got the keys, And then we started walking across the car park, and I thought, where are we going? You know what I mean? Because I thought marina's that way.
Yeah.
And anyway, cut a long story short, the people who owned the boat up to that point had it moored on the Trent and Mersey Canal, didn't they?
Did,
so it was literally just a couple of minutes walk away, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You know, and it was tied up. And like I said, we got there, and I'll be honest, first impressions for me weren't great. And I don't mean it in a negative sense, because I know, like, for 25 grand you can't expect very much. But it was tied up. There was trees nearby, weren't there?
Yeah.
Like covered in leaves. It was, I'm not saying it was green, but it looked a bit unkept, didn't it?
Yeah.
It did look a bit unkept. But what got me was the hull. The shape of the hull was just beautiful, you know what I mean? Absolutely beautiful. The lines, you know what I mean? It was like all I can describe it, a bit like an old working boat, you know, like gorgeous shape, wasn't it? Very sleek.
It's funny because it always makes me laugh when Stephen talks like that. I'm glad Wagtail isn't a human woman, because all he talks about is her curves.
Very curvy, isn't she?
She is very curvy, but it is a beautiful hull that she has, isn't it?
And that's the first thing. And the other thing I did like, which I've always quite liked, but it's not for everyone, because originally when we were kind of like thinking boats, we were looking at maybe semi-trags, weren't we?
Yes, yeah.
But secretly, I always liked the traditional stern, just because it's more like the working boats, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I do understand it's not for everyone, but it kind of appealed to me. That one, it was a lovely hull. The other thing I liked, straight away, porthole windows.
Yeah, you did.
You know, I've never had a boat with porthole windows before. On the roof, brass vents, which were kind of nice. And you kind of could see, not that it had been neglected, I'm not saying that, but it looked a little bit tired. But what you could see is quality.
Yes.
This weren't like a mass-produced boat. Not that I've got anything against that. Someone had put a lot of effort into this boat, hadn't they?
Yeah.
And it really did show.
Yeah.
So I thought, yeah, you know, I from the initial disappointment, and it's no detriment to anyone, you know, I soon warmed to it, didn't I?
Well, I warmed straight away. I warmed straight away, which I was really surprised at, to be fair. Because I walked in, because I'm a holistic therapist, and I read energy a lot as a holistic therapist. And the energy in that boat was beautiful, wasn't it?
It was, because, you know, even before we got in the boat, I remember, like, Emma had quite a big bunch of keys, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
And anyway, like, she managed to, you know, like, undo the padlock.
Yeah.
And it's strange, because, like, obviously I weren't used to a narrowboat, but you kind of lift the rear hatch up, don't you, and slide it.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's sort of quite steep, really, to get in, weren't it, initially?
Yeah.
To be fair, but... So your first impressions?
Well, I think I warmed to it quicker than you did, and you were quite surprised at that, weren't you?
Yeah, because I'll be honest, you know, like you said, you get in, and to me, you call it a boatman's cabin, but it's not a true boatman's cabin in that sense, because obviously we built in 1989, and in the original sort of traditional boats, you'd have like a bit of a stove, weren't you?
Yes.
But it were kind of quirky, because the bed kind of, it was a board, weren't it?
It was,
and it folded back on itself.
Yes.
And then it gave you like room to go. So that was the first thing I quite liked. I like bits of features, like there's a bit of a wardrobe and the carving in the door.
Yes.
You're really nice carving. And I started like looking at the woodwork, you know, like the paneling inside the boat. And I'm thinking, this is quite nice, this. Bit of spongy floorboards, weren't there?
Yes, there was. Yes, yeah. And to be fair, we were looking and we think, well, we do need to make some renovations if we do get the boat.
Yeah.
Because it really could have done with a new kitchen. But, I mean, the boat was 37 years old.
Yeah, it's quite old.
Full of wood, but full of really expensive wood as well.
Expensive wood, loads of character.
Yes,
loads of character. But what did I like in the corridor? What kind of really got me? The engine?
Oh yeah, the Lister engine. Yeah. I was going to say the lights, because you like the lights.
Oh, I love the lights, yeah. But now, just the fact that you've got a separate engine room and you've got this Lister engine, and it's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is huge, and it's such character in the engine room.
Yes.
Even ruddy exhaust going out.
Yeah, you like your old Listers.
Yeah, like, but not only that, because not remember, Emma went, because again, I'd not started one of them type of narrowboat. So Emma went back to get someone from the workshop in there.
Yes.
You know, who proceeded to come back.
Yes.
And what that feeling when they started it?
I know, it was a nice sound, to be fair. You know, the chug, chug, chug.
Yeah, chug, 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 chug. And the boat almost came alive, didn't it?
Yes.
And it was like it were talking to us. It was almost like this hypnotic sound that we're trying to say, buy me, buy me, buy me.
So anyway, we went back to the office and put our offer in, didn't we?
Well, you need to backtrack just a little bit, dear. Because remember when Emma was showing us around?
Yes.
Yeah, because this is the thing, unknown to us. Obviously, while Emma was showing us around, and like, you know, like obviously we went into the lounge and the gallery were a bit tired and all that, but lots of quality, lots of quirky features. But Emma were kind enough to say that unknown to us, the morning that we visited, another young couple had been to see the boat, hadn't she?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they put an offer in. So you can imagine, you know, I'm walking into this boat thinking, I really quite like it and it's within our budget. And then suddenly you find another young couple had been, they liked it enough to put an offer in. And obviously Emma couldn't tell us what the offer were, which is fair enough. So I remember thinking, and I was looking at Em thinking, like, I really want this boat. You know what I mean? Because it had potential. You know, like, I character, you had a nice old Lister engine kind of burst into life. And I thought, I don't want to lose it. Because bearing in mind, it was only up for 25 grand, which, to be honest, was a bargain, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Even though it needed quite a lot of work, it was a bargain.
Yeah.
So what we decided to do is, we didn't know what the other couple had put in terms of a bid, did we? But we thought if we put in the asking price, 25 grand, we've got a chance, haven't we?
Yeah.
Because you're kind of thinking, well, if the other couple put a low ball offer in, potentially we could get this boat, couldn't we?
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short.
The thing was, it was worth 25, and I wouldn't have put low ball offer in.
No, I know, but usually what people do is, even though it had just been reduced, people will try and get it that bit cheaper.
Yeah.
You know, to do the jobs that are required, because certainly the galley was tired, wasn't it?
Yeah, it needs a lot. It needed a lot of work, and it's been renovated.
Yeah, and so anyway, we looked at the boat. We heard the boat. Emma looked at it. We went back to office, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it was a bit nail biting, wasn't it?
Because,
yeah,
it was.
Because what happened? Obviously, Emma had to leave the room. Didn't she?
She says, "I've just got to speak to the vendors, and put your offer forward to them." So we were just sitting in the office.
Yeah, we're like nail biting. Yeah, I've not bit my nails for years, but I'm almost like getting tempted. You know what I mean? And she'd probably gone about 5 minutes if that.
Yeah.
Because I remember thinking, like, from that first impressions, which weren't great, to really liking that boat, I had my fingers crossed. I was like that, thinking, please, just for once, give me this little bit of luck. You know what I mean? And then Emma came back, didn't she?
Yeah. And she says, congratulations, your offer's been accepted.
And, you know, honestly, it was like euphoric. It felt like I won the lottery. You know what I mean? I was almost in disbelief, the fact that we won the way to buying a narrowboat. But me being, because I've got a big heart and I cared, didn't I?
Yes.
But I did feel really bad. Obviously, I'd never met this couple who looked at Wagtail in the morning. I felt bad for them. But to be fair, we did put in the asking price offer and we were successful.
Yeah, we were.
So not that we didn't do anything underhand, did we?
No, not at all. But so the next thing was to put a deposit down, wasn't it?
Yeah, and what obviously just before that we looked at the paperwork, didn't we?
Yes.
There was like a big wad of paperwork. Yes. There's the original Lister manual, and again we liked. I know we mentioned in the last video, but we wanted to go for a broker, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Because obviously, like, we put down a relatively small deposit. But the next stage, obviously, even though we love the boat, we needed a survey, didn't we?
Yes, we did, yeah.
We needed a survey, and that was the thing about it. And that, you know, like, you put a small deposit, don't you?
Yeah.
And then the boat had to come out of the water. They're lucky, really, because it's like a slipway, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, there's a slipway out there.
Yeah, it's handy there, isn't it?
So
really?
Anyway, Wagtail was taken out of the water. It was kind of put on blocks, weren't it, on the hard standing?
Yeah.
And then we had to then basically wait for the survey, didn't we?
It was a very reputable surveyor who had years of knowledge, really.
Yeah, you know, and like you said, with a survey, I didn't realise, but with a survey you can do one or two things. It could kind of just be the whole only, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Or the inside as well, and we thought, just do the whole thing.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's that kind of that nail-biting couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, again, you're sort of like on tenterhooks waiting, because if it had failed big time, we would have walked away, wouldn't we?
Yeah, like I said, I know I mentioned it previously, but as much as I love Wagtail, like, you know, the thing is with a survey as well, I must mention, they measure the thickness of the steel, don't they?
Yes, they do, yes.
So you know, you get readings on the hull, different points along the hull, obviously inside and all that. you know, and we didn't know if it would have been when I say colander, I mean if it would have been like not in good shape, we would have had to walk away, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
And I genuinely would have been upset.
Yes.
Because I'm not saying I'd kind of fallen for the boat, but I really did like it, you know what I mean? And I thought this boat has got a lot of potential because it was tied inside it. It meant we could put our own mark on it, didn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, like, I think it was a couple of weeks for the...
It was, yes.
For the survey, weren't it?
So we got the survey back, didn't we?
Yeah. I think it was kind of, it come by email, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
And then it was kind of nerve-wracking because you know it's from the gentleman, and you kind of, again, fingers crossed, thinking, please, please, please be good. You know what I mean? Because, you know, it's difficult when you've not got a great budget, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you kind of like pay your money, you take your chance. But what was the survey like?
It was fab, to be fair. We couldn't believe it because it just failed on one thing, didn't it?
Well, that obviously, you know, like when we decided to look at it, it still had a couple of months left of the boat safety certificate, didn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously it did need doing. And of all the things it could have failed on, like the thickness readings were good, weren't they?
Very good.
Very good. Surprisingly, really, bearing in mind it was built in 1989. It had a good hull, which were capable of years of like endless pleasure. The engine was in good shape. It was really good. There was just one thing, weren't there? And you're not going to believe this. For all the things it could have failed on, it failed on a crack on the wood burning stove.
Yeah.
Which was a relatively quick fix, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Well, a new wood burning stove.
Well, that's all it needed, and that was kind of the icing on the cake, thinking we've made the right decision here.
Yeah.
But what it did also have, because obviously, you know, to pass or to get a new boat safety certificate, it needed a new wood burning stove.
Yes, it did.
But there was some advisories.
There was quite a few advisories on it, wasn't there?
Yeah, but we expected that because
we
it
did.
was an older boat.
Yeah.
And like the first one, obviously, was like it needed, because it had not been blacked in a while, had it?
No.
You know, not for a couple of years. So the first one had to be grit blasted.
Yes.
Grit blasted back to bare metal. Any deep pitting, and there weren't very much of that, were there, to be fair?
No.
It had to be ground back, welded.
Yes.
You know, that were done, and then it was 3 coats of 2-pack blacking.
Yes.
8 new anodes.
Yes.
And I think the other thing we had to get done with the stern drive, went to the stern gear.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
But, so we decided, didn't we, that, you know, like we'd try and get as many advisories done as we could.
Try and get all the advisories done if we could.
Yeah, except one, because it would have cost, weren't it?
Yes.
Do you remember what that advisory was?
Oh, you know, I can't remember.
Full repaint.
Oh, that's it, the full repaint
of the cabin. And on that stage, like you said, obviously, you know, like, survey we're good. And that's the point as well, isn't it, really? Because you think about it, we obviously, you're thinking we were successful, weren't we? We're a successful bidder, you know, on the boat.
Yes.
But then we had to pay for it, didn't we?
Yes.
That's the one thing we're not mentioning. Obviously, it had to be paid for it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because in terms of this work, no work could start on the boat until we become legal owners.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So I know it's thingy, but just stressing that, obviously, we agreed to buy the boat because the survey came back good. But until you've paid for the boat, you can't get any work done on it, can you?
That's right.
So obviously, you know, we paid for it, so it was legally ours.
Yeah.
And then we got the work done, didn't we?
We did. So that was being done still at Great Haywood.
Yeah, at Great Haywood Marina,
I mean, we were looking at the stoppages anyway, weren't we, at the time, to see when we could bring it back up north, weren't we?
And that's a good point, though, isn't it? I know we've not mentioned it yet, but obviously, as soon as we knew we were buying this boat, we had to start thinking about mooring, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yes.
And when we did the helmsman...
Well, we did take a shine to Reedley Marina, didn't we?
We
After
did.
doing our helmsman there, because it's so beautiful around there.
It is, but what's special about Reedley Marina? Because you can have leisure moorings.
Oh, you can have residential moorings at Reedley Marina.
And that's the thing what sold it for me. Because obviously, like, originally, you know, like, we considered being a continuous cruiser, didn't we?
Yes.
But you weren't keen on that idea, were you?
No. Well, so I'll just say I had a bit of resistance before I broke my arm to go on the boat. When I broke my arm and basically I couldn't do my therapies, and I was in bed for about 3 weeks, just trying to get it to mend it.
I felt really sorry for you.
And I felt quite sorry for myself as well. I realised there's more to life than just working life's for living and for enjoying. And I thought, you know what, if Stephen buys a narrowboat, I'm going with him.
Which is amazing, isn't it? You know, it's like...
So I think, in a way, that me breaking my arm happened for a reason. To show me that, you know, you've got to just take life by both hands and go for it.
Because it was at that stage, really, because obviously, like, bearing in mind the boat was at Grey Hill, we're getting the work done. And we started looking for, because we looked at a couple of marinas, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yes. What's the other one called, which is not a million miles away?
What, near here? We went to Lemonroyd, which is only about 25 minutes from where we're.
It was nice, but there were no spaces available, were there?
No, we did put our name down on the waiting list.
But it didn't come really, did it? You know,
no.
So there was that. And then we looked at another one briefly, didn't we? Horbury Bridge.
Oh yeah, Horbury Bridge, which is run by CRT.
Well, that seemed to be pretty much full, didn't it?
Well, that was full, but also very expensive.
Very expensive, I thought.
Because you have to bid for your mooring.
Yeah.
And it was getting a bit out of control down there, because Horbury Bridge is quite a nice area around here, isn't it?
But what swayed it for us, like you said, because, you know, the elusive residential mooring, they don't come up very often, do they?
No.
They don't come up very often. And we started thinking about it. We knew, obviously, we did the helmsman course at Reedley Marina on the Leeds Liverpool Canal. And we remember thinking, like, if a spot becomes available, we quite fancy it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
So we kind of put our name down, didn't we?
We did, yes.
We put our name down, and then what happened?
A spot became available.
Which, it was almost
was
like
amazing.
fate, wasn't it? You know what I mean? It was incredible.
Yeah.
Because, obviously, we'd taken a shine to that marina. You know, we got Wagtail. So it's almost like luck was on our side, wasn't it, in that respect?
Totally.
You know, we really liked it, didn't we, really?
Yeah.
You know.
So we had to look to see about when we could bring Wagtail back up. I mean, it was still having work done on her in January, wasn't she, in February? Yeah. But there was stoppages that would have stopped us anyway. I think they weren't opening up until...
No, well, that's it. And one thing I must mention, like, obviously, because you took me down to... Because no detriment to the people who used to on the boat, but there was still a lot of stuff on that boat, weren't there?
Yeah, totally.
You know, a lot of stuff on the boat, furniture, a lot of cupboards were still full.
Yeah.
So what happened was, and I was quite brave really, weren't I? You know, and drove me down there, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And then you kind of said your bias, didn't you? Actually, we loaded some of this stuff up, including the old mattress, in the car.
Yeah.
So we kind of filled your car up, and then you left me, didn't you?
I left, and I brought all that back up here, and I went to the local tip the next day.
And I had to sleep on the boat with all that stuff for how many nights?
Well, you were there for 5 days trying to sort stuff out, weren't you?
Yeah, because what we're doing, obviously, you know, like I had a lot of stuff to sort out, didn't I?
Yeah.
For example, there was like these big black chairs and footstools, and they were big, weren't they? Taking up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, because we did offer them, no one wanted them, did they?
No.
And to be fair, they took too much space for us. So I thought, all I can do is, you know, like turn them over, and they were like this bracket, and there was all these Allen key bolts.
Yeah.
So it took me forever to, you know Allen key. Well, I tried turning, they were like almost C's, so I had splitting WD, and anyway, eventually I got the bottoms off, didn't I?
Yes.
And then I started making a bit of a pile on the front of the tug deck, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
And then, like, you come down, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came down on the following Sunday to bring Stephen back up.
Yeah.
And the tug deck was full, wasn't it?
It was full. So what did we have to do before we drove home?
We popped to the local tip down there.
And how many times did we go?
Was it 2 or 3 times?
2 or 3 times we had to go down there.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, because it was a licensed site, weren't it? And we did check that. You know, we weren't able to do that.
Yes.
Because we're thinking that at this stage, at some point in that near future, we're hoping to bring it back.
Yeah.
But because it was full of all the previous owners' furniture and clutter, we needed to make a bit of space, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Because if you remember what I'd done, I'd got a couple of old folding camp beds from Facebook Marketplace.
Yes, you did.
Because at that point, there was, you know, if you want to call it the boatman's cabin, wasn't suitable.
No.
You know, because it was full of stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, you know, like I said, we got rid of it all, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we came home, didn't we?
Well, we did. And the other thing I will say about the boat is, because it was an old boat, it didn't have plug-in electric either,
No, it wasn't. That's the thing about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the engine, it's basically 12 volt, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
You know what I mean? And obviously, we got a new wood-burning stove put in, didn't we?
Yeah.
But it's not that I'm scared of using one, it's just the amount of stuff on that boat, I couldn't use it. And I'll be honest, a couple of nights, like when I was sleeping on the boat, You can imagine in the lounge, if you want to call it that. Folding camp bed. I had quite a good toggle rating sleeping bag.
Yes.
Didn't I?
Yeah.
And I had blankets, and it was bloody freezing.
This was March.
It was March. And I remember thinking, what's that noise? And when he opened like the front doors, it was snowing. You know, before that, it was like hailstone. Yeah. And I remember thinking, I don't want to, it's probably the coldest I've been in my life. And let's just say I didn't get hypothermia, but I was on the verge. It was freezing.
Yeah. So,
but I thought, if I can survive that, I can survive anything, can't I?
Yeah. So anyway, we cleared it out a few times, and then we were thinking about bringing the boat back up.
And originally the plan was, we obviously we're watching stoppages, weren't we?
We were, yeah.
Because even at that point, we knew we couldn't go back by the Cheshire Ring because there'd already been a breach on the Bridgewater Canal near Bollington, weren't there?
Yes.
So that prevented that way, which would have been the natural way, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Because if that had been open, could have gone through Preston Brook Tunnel, you know, and gone to Wigan that way.
Yes.
So if our only option really would be from us two and Sam, our dog, to boat it back.
Yeah.
So we would have had to leave Great Haywood, go up the Trent and Mersey, go on the Macclesfield Canal to Marple, go down Marple Locks, Lower Peak Forest Canal to Portland Basin, Ashton Canal, turn left on the Rochdale 9, and then a bit of the Bridgewater, Lee Branch to Wigan Locks.
Yes.
And then if we'd have got up Wigan Locks, we could come boat it back to Reading, couldn't we?
Yeah.
But that, maybe fate ruled against us on that, because what happened?
Well, the funny thing is, we're the admins of Rochdale Canal Group.
For our sins.
And then
Please volunteer.
A sinkhole appeared on the Rochdale.
It was unbelievable. Just above
couldn't believe it.
I know, it's thinking just above New Islington Marina. Bearing in mind, we were literally probably a week away from bringing it back, weren't we?
We were, yeah.
You know, we were literally ready for it. We got the life jackets. You know, like, we were ready. And then we found out about this sinkhole. And what it meant is basically, just over New Islington, it drained.
Yes.
And then CRT then had to put kind of like a porta dam in, or they got contractors to put a porta dam in. But what it meant is, at that point, we couldn't use the Rochdale 9.
No.
Because it pretty much lost its water supply.
Yeah.
So, right, if you think about it, we can't boat it back on the Bridgewater because of the breach. We couldn't go down the Rochdale 9 to access the Bridgewater Canal and Lee Branch because of the sinkhole. So we had a problem. And I remember like thinking, surely it's not this difficult to bring a boat back, because we'd also like looked at the possibility of bringing it all the way back from Great Haywood on the back of a lorry, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, but that
it was
very
quite expensive
from Great Haywood.
You know, I was surprised just how much that was, to be fair.
It was about £5,000, which was a lot of money, wasn't it?
Well, it was to us, but bearing in mind, like, you know, we bought the boat and we've done that work in it. So anyway, what we ended up doing, which it took a bit of doing, didn't it? We employed the service, because I'll be honest, it's not that we didn't want to bring it back, but we're also doing a lot of work on your house, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
Having to declutter, because it's a 3-bed house and I collected a lot of stuff over my lifetime, didn't I?
Yeah.
And a lot of rooms were full.
Yeah.
So what we decided to do, we hired a boat mover to take the boat to Stoke-on-Trent, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And at Stoke-on-Trent, it was taken, I think, by slipway and put on hard standing.
Yes.
And it wasn't there very long, and then it was lifted up by a high-ab, I believe, and put on back of a low loader.
Yes.
And then it was taken down the motorway to Botany Bay, near Chorley, on the Leeds-Liverpool Canal.
Yes.
And what happened there? You know, Botany Bay, when it arrived on the lorry?
Well, I don't know, you tell me.
It was craned in.
Well, it was craned in. I think it's...
State the obvious.
I just think I'm being tested here a little bit.
No, not in the slightest.
But it was craned in, but then we had to move the boat as soon as it was craned in, didn't we?
Well, that's the thing. Obviously, it was nice that we saw William, didn't we?
Yes,
bumped into
we
William
did,
there. Absolutely lovely gentleman. And it was invaluable, wasn't he?
He was amazing.
And Gary as well.
And Gary, yeah.
You know what I mean? Really, from CRT, weren't they? You know what I mean? Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And they couldn't do enough for us, could they?
No.
And I always remember, like, obviously, it's that worry, isn't there? You know, like, obviously, Wagtail was on the back of this low loader. Then he's got to make quite a sharp bend reversing into.
Yeah.
And he got the lure underneath the crane. And it's that you know, when it's lifted up, there's always that, please don't fall off your harnesses and land on the floor. You know, because they're thinking, we've come this far, please, please. I had my fingers crossed like that, you know, my toes were crossed. And I said, please, just drop into the water really gently, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it did, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
But as soon as it went in the water, then obviously there was another boat waiting to be craned out. So we kind of managed to push it to the other side of the canal, didn't we?
Yes.
And it was tied up.
Yeah.
And then that stage then we had to, because our car was full of stuff, like sleeping bags and that, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we had to empty the car. We had a few trips down the towpath.
And it was quite a long way, and Gary and Will helped on that,
yeah, they were really good, really kind, to be fair. So the idea was that I was going to drive to Reedley, because it was not too far from Botany Bay, really. Although it seems miles away when you go by canal.
No, it's quite slow anyway.
So I drove the car to Reedley once it was emptied, because we have a parking space there, and it's
that's the good thing about residential mowing. You get parking space and a few facilities.
So the plan was to take a couple of days to get to Reedley by the boat, wasn't it?
So I stayed with the boat, didn't I? You went back to Reedley in your car. How did you get back from Reedley? You left your car at Reedley?
I got an Uber back to Botany Bay.
Yeah. And then obviously I met Anne. Yeah. And that's when the fun started, really, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Because we had to move the boat.
Yeah. So shall we...
shall we save the rest for next time?
We'll save the rest for next time.
Because we've covered a lot of ground there, haven't we? I hope you found that interesting, you know what I mean? It just shows, doesn't it? Even with the best laid plans, you can't always boat it back, can you?
Yeah. So... The reason for the title, oh my God, we've bought a narrowboat, or OMG, is because every day now Stephen says to me, I can't believe we've got a narrowboat.
And I do, even now, you know what I mean? But bearing in mind, we bought the boat, didn't we, December last year?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even now, I do find it quite unbelievable. I've got to kind of pinch myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, for me, it's like a lifelong ambition. I waited a lifetime. And... you know, I still find it quite incredible that I have got an boat.
Yeah.
So a very relevant title, very apt, and it did make me smile as well.
Yeah. So anyway, look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yeah, most definitely, and we love coming on, don't we?
We do.
And hopefully you enjoy it. You know what I mean?
And thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thanks for all your support. We do appreciate it. You know, and please like the page.
Yeah.
You know, because it does mean a lot to us. And then we can keep you updated, can't we?
We can. Okay.
Like that, I suppose we better say bye, aren't we?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And see you again.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.